Hey everyone, who would have thought it turned out to be a Since I didn't give out a spoiler warning yet, I want to be fair. Thank you for checking out Nerd Nation's Season 10, Episode 7, Show to Comic. Man, I gotta tell you, I'm batting like 20 in these prediction videos. Wait, is 20 in batting good or bad? Sorry, not a sports guy, but I'm doing pretty bad in my theory videos. But hey, that's what makes AMC so interesting. Just when you think you have them figured out, they surprise you with a whole new level of filler. Sadly, there really isn't any comic book parallels in this episode, but we do have a few nods and tidbits AMC gave to the source material. For this episode, we have 3 intertwining stories that are all exclusive to AMC. First up is Siddiq. When he's not dealing with an increasing number of sick patients, he's battling his ever-worsening PTSD. Luckily, he has Rosita to help comfort him, but being that close to a spicy Latina would make any guy have to cool off. The duo of Siddiq and Dante also tend to the Whisperer captive, but unfortunately it doesn't quite work out well. He also gets a huge clue with how everyone is getting sick.
Oh Frank, seriously? I have such a raging clue right now?
But before he can tell anyone, the unmasked Whisperer Dante is forced to silence him. Okay, so Siddiq and his PTSD. That was all exclusive to AMC. I know, man. I felt the same way about The Last Jedi. Siddiq in the comics is not a doctor, but a construction foreman and member of Dwight's militia. The town doctor was actually Dr. Carson. Remember that guy? AMC killed him off back in Season 8. What is it about doctors in the apocalypse and not surviving? You'd think they'd be protected like a pony that shits Lucky Charms. His interactions with Rosita is a nod to their secret affair in issue 133 of the comics, but since she was one of Alpha's victims, that affair was before the fair. Haha, get it? Affair? The fair? Lastly, he doesn't die, but is one of the lucky fellows that makes it to the last issue. In regards to Dante, as much as we hate him, he wasn't a Whisperer in the comics. In fact, there was no Whisperer spy that infiltrated the communities. Other than Alpha, of course. He makes his first appearance much earlier on and lives in Hilltop as part of the security team. The comics was the inspiration for his sense of humor and carefree attitude in the show, as he's constantly joking around with Maggie, trying to make her laugh. Mostly so he can get in her pants. Next up, we have the captive Whisperer who gets interrogated. Carol plays both roles of good cop and bad cop.
Oh yes, but we are not done yet.
Hi buddy, I'm your friendly neighborhood police officer.
However, neither work, but the prisoner does let a crucial piece of information slip.
She sacrificed her own daughter for us.
Zoinks!
Now, this wouldn't be Season 10 Carol if she didn't ignore the wishes of her close friends to do what she wanted. She takes Lydia to the border to go meet up with Erin's story. Okay, right off the bat, I need to point out that Carol in the comics has been long dead. Sorry to all the Carol fans out there. Also, no Whisperer is ever captured, other than Lydia, of course. Carol, wanting to use her as bait though, is a nod to issue 146 of the comics, where Eugene suggests to Rick that they use Lydia as bait to draw Alpha into a trap. He rejects this idea and sends her off with Carl and Andrea, who is alive at this point. Sorry to all the Andrea haters out there. The biggest change from the comics though is Alpha never lied about Lydia being killed. The Whisperers know fully well she's alive and was only exiled. The lie Alpha told in AMC's version though was a nod to the reason Alpha exiled Lydia in the comics. She tells her Whisperers that Lydia was weakened and not belong with them. However, the real reason she wanted Lydia gone was for Rick to protect her daughter. This moment of weakness on Alpha's part was taken to her grave, since after her death, Beta sends a horde to attack the hilltop, believing Alpha still wanted Lydia brought back into the fold. Lastly, we have the odd couple of Erin and Gamma. He tries a literal breaking of the bread with her, but she's gently reminded by Alpha whose side she's on. Meeting up with him one last time, she decides they need to get a little closer, but the romantic counter is interrupted by her second story. This ends with both Gamma and Lydia taking off, leaving Erin and Carol in a very awkward situation. Just like the previous 2 stories, this exchange was exclusive to AMC. In the comics, it was Aaron, not Carol, who went after Negan. He gets stabbed by Beta, but don't worry, he pulls through. Lydia getting mad at Carol was inspired by issue 147 of the comics, where she takes her anger out on Andrea, but in a much more dramatic style. Andrea escorts Lydia and Carl to the hilltop to keep them safe, but Lydia gets confused when Andrea asks the patrolman to lie for her. She thinks Andrea is actually taking her back to her mother and demands the truth. Well, there you have it. What did you think of this episode? Make sure to subscribe for more Walking Dead show to comic videos, and until next time, keep on walking.